All right, ladies and gentlemen, we get started here in just a second, so hop on in. We'll kick things off just a moment. Let a few people get on board. Give the thumbs up. Give a little like if you've been on the show before. We'll be checking out a few things in the shop here. Appreciate any feedback you have on that. Appreciate you checking out the shop. KevinG.com. These are products that I personally use. They're there for your greatest good. The AO scan, by goodness gracious, we are energy, frequency, vibration. Click this link, get directed to the website to purchase your handheld unit to activate the amazing amount of information that can scan your entire physical body, as well as send in balancing harmonics through a number of means of technologies and improve your body's ability to be balanced and resilient in today's nature of the toxic environment that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin G. We are live with Transformations, and we're rolling into winning in every situation. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. We'll kick things off in just a second. Hit that smash that like button. Yes, activate that algorithm for our greatest good here. And I'll say hello. What's a good hashtag these days? Say hello. It's all about getting people and getting some attention, getting some notoriety, getting people engaged with what's going on. So I'll show a few things here that I have for you. But today we're continuing the conversation of life is perfect, and failure, my goodness gracious, is the way forward. Failure is the way to reward, is what I was talking about there. So how do I talk about that? What am I getting into? Well, we're going to be talking about the topic tonight: decode your pain. Who has pain out there? You know, pain has purpose. And I'll be showing you a little bit about why pain has purpose and what that means and what that is. In fact, I'll give you a little flash of that right there, right now. Here we are, table of contents. And in fact, I wanted this to be the very end here. Excuse me. Right there. Up a few pages. Here are the categories. Yes, every part of our body has a connection to our subconscious mind. So we'll dive in there in just a second. Let me get the intro started. Please hit the like button if you like what you got going on so far. We're going to talk about the subconscious mind. We're going to talk about the mind of the body, the connections, and how to interpret your physical pain. And if I may be so bold, interpret the life struggles that you're going through as an indicator to where you need to work on in life. So stay tuned. We'll get started in just a second. See you on the other side of this intro. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're talking the book Decode Your Pain, and funny enough, I was watching that video, and look, I got the same shirt on. I love it. This is one of my favorite shirts in the world, and I happen to have it on that day apparently. So here we are, Decode Your Pain, and in the back of the book, we have the appendix where we begin to associate the conversation between the body and the mind. And in the book, and all over medical literature, we have different conversations going on where we show and demonstrate through empirical research, double-blind clinical controlled studies, all the bells and whistles research you want to see. Our thoughts and our reality are intertwined, and there's some things that need to connect dots there. However, that's the snippet. That's the big mountain I want you to look at. And with mountains, you have to climb up to get to that information and understand the information. Use the information, assimilate the information, So that's why I have the show here, Transformations. In fact, this was born out of a little bit of frustration. I had trouble in the beginning of my career relating some of the concepts for people in my practice. And I wanted to do a better job at describing some things for them so they would have a better grip on what they were going through for their personal health, for their journey. And this, I invite anyone out there that is trying to heal themselves naturally, holistically, wanting to avoid some of the mainstream avenues, because we frankly we see the data is very clear when one truly investigates that the mainstream model of how we take care of our bodies is rife with injury and trouble and problems. And so my whole world is built over the last the last 20 years of studying and applying it in my own life and, of course, patients as well. And so this is how Decode Your Pain got started, and this is how we want to start first with the concept here, and this is how we're going to move forward at this point. So this body map I want to share with you here a little bit is showing us a little bit about, and I want to highlight, hopefully it's here, the throat. Yes, the throat. I don't know about you, but throat has been very important when it comes to healing lately. So much about communications going on, and I'm not going to be talking about cosmic forces, but that's the conversation of external energy and internal energy. Again, that's a concept we're going to dive into in just a moment. So our concepts and our perceptions and our conceptions, the things, how we look at things, how we're taught to look at things, how we gather our information, a filter, affects everything we do in life, literally everything. And so I first got started on this journey through healing, and that's because of some simple truths. And let me see if I can bring this into a better view. Yes, some simple truths that I was turned on to a long time ago. In fact, I had, just like you, thousands of experiences of this exact fact. So let's take a look at this exact fact. Can you agree or disagree that healing is something the body naturally does? Body's self-healing and self-regulating. Can you agree or disagree with that statement? Let's think about it for a second. All right, let's think about it for a second. We have the body, self-healing. Think about cutting yourself. You fall down, you're outside running around. Hopefully you're outside running around. That's part of building a functioning, high-functioning immune system. Is being outside, interacting with nature, with our world. And with that being said, we fall down, we cut our hand, we scrape our knee. You've done it 1,000 times. And what happens? You keep it, you wash it off, you get the dirt out, you get the rocks out, you get the nasty stuff out. And then, well, you keep it clean. And the body goes through a process without you having to consciously think about it. It goes through this process where it self-heals. And so the famous story in my world is cut a piece of steak, cut a corpse. What happens? It does not heal. It does not mend itself. Now, in our medical, in our current healthcare society, we can advance our healing abilities. We can have massive injuries today that years ago would end somebody's life. However, with the advancement of modern society and culture and technology and healthcare sciences, well, we can go through traumatic problems and come out pretty much in a good place. People have remarkable recovery stories, and the internet and YouTube are rife with beautiful stories of people overcoming challenges in their life. And that's what the program at 8 o'clock tonight is all about, winning in every situation. And if you are, I'll drop the link right now. I'll pull it up real quick. But tonight, winning in every situation, we're going over the topic of failure and how it is actually a requirement for success. And anyone going through any endeavor that is worthwhile, failure is something that you will encounter, and how you go about overcoming those encounters and all the interactions and interwoven connections of what failure brings you. There's a very important benefit to it. And so I'll drop that link right there. winningineversituation.com/winning. But let's get back to the topic at hand here. Well, what do you think here? Type in the chat. What do you think? Does the body have self-healing abilities? Hashtag yes. Hashtag body's amazing. Amazing humans. Now let's talk about the concept of self-regulating. Think about body temperature. Think about how the body digests food. Think about sleep. Think about, well, healing, getting a cut. Think about the heartbeat. Think about the spleen. Maybe it's the first time you ever heard that word, spleen. So many things are occurring automatically in the human body, being regulated at an automatic place. So, number one, let's go back a couple steps. Number one, do you agree or disagree? The body is self-healing and self-regulating. If no, well, study up. I invite you to consider this definition right here by Gray's Anatomy. The purpose of the brain and nervous system is to control and coordinate the functions of all the cells, tissues, and organs in the body, and to adapt the organism to its environment. What's the point of this? Your body is built to adapt. And your body, and bring it back to the main point here, our body is constantly showing us what is going on. And that's what I have here in the map of how the subconscious component of our mind communicates with our conscious mind. Now there's thoughts that can come through and fly through. There's emotions that come through and fly through. There's physical pains that come through and fly through, and life experiences. And these are all different depths and dimensions of what it means to be a human being. And perhaps I can speed up on my presentation and show you a few different things. And let's see if I have a slide to show you the demonstration of the different parts, what it is to be a human being. I think I need a different slideshow up. But you know what I can show you? I'll show you right over here. I'll pull up on the web search here. I'm just going to type in chakra and aura. Right, so what we're looking at, these terms, although you've been taught these terms have perhaps you've been taught, I can't assume anything anymore, that what we're seeing in these images is just a made up woo-woo, perhaps dangerous, perhaps none of that is true. What I want to share with you is that these are fields of frequencies, vibrations of energy that are detectable with different technologies that were available not that long ago. And this actually brings us to today's point. So let's talk about what we got going on for today's conversation in the book, Decode Your Pain. Let me show you a little bit about that cover. There's Decode Your Pain. And we're talking about the concept tonight in chapter 9, Life is Perfect. And tonight's, we're highlighting, oh, I lost my page there, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a little bit of a. I have my spot. I grabbed the wrong thing, and you know what? That's what happens in the real world, people. We are live, and I made a little error, a miscalculation. Okay, so chapter 9 is called Life is Perfect, and the concept here. Let me show you the nature of the organization of thoughts to get you to the point that life is perfect, and how we've been taught to look at our life and how we've been taught to see our own existence is not based in the reality of how our physical body operates. Woo! That's a lot. So if I'm saying too much, please let me slow down. If you got a question, type it in the chat. I'm right here, and we'll talk it out. We've got a few more minutes here, and I'm out of communication. I was just about to hop on a Zoom call before I got on there. And I did, but I was getting out of my car and I lost one of my phones, and I don't know where I'm at right now. So communication is, I'm 100% focused here and now, and my phone will appear when my phone needs to appear. But the point being, if you have questions, now it's time to ask, and we'll be diving into the material. But the point being here, in the book, And you can get a free introduction to this by going to the website drkeving.com, or you'll see it scrolling below drkevintransformations.com. And you'll see that this concept here, symptoms are the story and life is symbolic. If you ever tried to interpret a dream, this is what I'm getting at. You have experience with this, all right? You have experience where you're interpreting a dream, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's symbolism, there's metaphor, there's analogy in which your subconscious and your unconscious part of your brain communicates in. Symbols and metaphor and stories are important for our subconscious and unconscious parts of our mind. And then we get into these laws of the mind with how we go about our life. That's called right useness, the ethics and morals of what we do, and the intentions in which we do things, our why behind the why. And there's a process to dig into that, of how to get at your beliefs of why you do the things that you do, and align that. And that's an important part of the process of my experience. So here we are. Then we need to understand this concept, because everyone here can get behind this for the most part. Dreams and weird experiences and symbolism and karma and all of that. That this is what the first part of the book is, and there's some of that in the free introduction. So I invite you to download that. But if you're on board with energy, and if you're into vibrational healing, energy healing, Reiki, acupuncture, chiropractic, naturopathy, homeopathy, then this topic is for you. Massage, mother's intuition, karma, synchronicity, laws of attraction. These are all topics and terms that are describing the laws of reality, natural law, spiritual law. And so this book is based on these concepts around our physical pain, because our system, and I don't have it pulled up for you, but we can look this up, and everyone, you can search this on your own. I recommend to search on more than one browser. However, our brain is like a radio receiver. It transmits and receives. It's the grand, let me back that up. That's a big statement. Our brain transmits and receives information all the time. Constantly. And so we can be subject to forces influencing our thoughts. Just like music can take you back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years with one song. You haven't heard it in a decade. Boom, you're back at that moment. The feeling, the smells, the taste, the people, what you wore, your clothes, all comes back in an instant. So we are energy, and our brain is like an amazing computer, the faster than any computer still built. Concept of life as a Mandelbrot, that has to do with karma, and it has to do with cycles of time and cycles of life and things of this nature. But we go into the topic of changing your beliefs about how you heal, changing your beliefs about your body, and this is where I'm a specialist, where I understand how the nature of healing works from a different model than where the big money is at. It's hard to patent. You're not allowed to patent nature. So any process that revolves around using nature or your natural abilities to promote your internal wellness is frowned upon. Not as much money in there. So I digress. Let's go back to the story here. But chapter 9 here, life is perfect, and that is what we're talking about here. And so play the game of life is perfect. All right. And I had the page I wanted to read the concept of life is perfect. Okay, excuse me while I'm searching live in real time. Okay, it has to do with the Wright brothers. And I share a couple stories. I apologize. Oh, here it is. This is it. Finally, we got it. Okay. Now we're up. This is like, we're talking like some next level stuff here. So, if I get a little heavy, if I get a little deep, let's mention something. Ask a question. I'm here for you, and we'll walk through it. But I'm integrating a lot of physics and quantum physics. I'm integrating the different movements within Christianity and laws of one. the different laws of metaphysics, and it's all weaved in, spoken in different language in different ways throughout time and history, throughout different cultures, and ours is no different. And there is something to be decoded. So if you heard this term, we're all one, or love is all there is, or the concept of a singular divine being, and this is all within that nature. Okay, so play the game of this concept. All right, if there is no accident to anything that exists in your life now, there is no accident to anything that exists in your life. When you know that life is perfect, that's the game we're playing right now, that life is perfect. You can observe the conditions in your life and ask yourself what thoughts and feelings and behaviors and actions you have that may have contributed to this. All right, so that's an interesting twist on the thought game. This is the important realm of thinking. We've been taught to think certain ways, so if we think a certain way, we're actually blind seeing it another way. It's like that children's game. You probably played it, where you have two pictures side by side, and one picture has a number of things different. You have to find, and at first glance, both pictures are exactly the same. However, digging in, there's vast differences. So we're asking you to play the game that life is perfect here. And so then, if life is perfect, what are you doing that's contributing to this? And if if I may offer this, if what is going on in your life is not what you want to see, you have to I invite you to entertain the idea that what you're getting and what you're seeing is perfect for you to be motivated to move forward, or to stop you from moving in a certain direction. I beg you to investigate yourself right now. This is a time of great transformation, and the ability to maximize or understand what life is showing you. Well, you have to understand how to discern what's a green light in your life and what's a red light in your life, what's a yellow light in your life. What's the old patterns of your behavior that led to good things, and what's the old patterns of your behavior that led to bad things. And sometimes the bad things weren't necessarily the bad things. That's what you were taught to believe. And so sometimes what's up is down and down is up and in is out. It gets twisted sometimes, but that's the nature of our reality. And so my work here online on this show is helping people understand the nature of the mind and how it works with the physical body. And if we choose to look at things a certain way, we get to see the clues of how we see those things. That's right. Right. There's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system. I was literally just looking this up for something earlier. And what this is a part of the brain that when you tell it to look out for something, or you become interested in something, then on the lookout radar for that thing, like a new word or a new car. We've all had this experience, and if you had this experience, hashtag yes, or give me some thumbs up or something. The point is, what that does is give the feedback and helps everybody connect. But the point being is, when we have something new in our environment, and we're interested in it, we want it, we're fascinated by it, all of a sudden we see it everywhere. I remember shopping for a car, and I thought it was like one of the only people that ever have it, and then next thing you know, I see it everywhere. If you had it, type in yes. Or you heard a new word, you heard a new concept, you heard a new insight about something that you never heard before. It's a foreign thing. You had to look up the word in a dictionary. But then all of a sudden you hear it in people using it in their language, or you hear it on TV. All of a sudden, like 3 or 4 times in a row. It was there all along. It just wasn't important, wasn't valuable at the time in your life. So there is no accident to anything that exists in your life. And that's a big concept right there. If we're playing the game that life is perfect. Now, this funny thing that I want to invite people to consider about how life could possibly be perfect. Right? It's a quote from this gentleman named Stephen Covey. He wrote a book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, perhaps, I think, one of the best sellers of all time. But it portrays people objecting to an idea. So here's what the book writes. I love the quote from Stephen Covey portraying the viewpoint of a very prominent public figure during the time before cars were popular. The horse and buggy is here to stay, and the automobile is just a fashion. People have such a hard time accepting change. And, the next one I have here, and this one was from my publisher, and I have a couple other reference points here. But people have a hard time accepting change, even to the fact where flight, the Wright brothers had proven they had flown. However, certain groups of people denied that ability. And this, yes, the Germans argued with the Wright brothers back in the early 1900s, I believe, like 1906, 1907. The Wright brothers were met with much resistance, that it was impossible, not possible to fly. And so people with no knowledge of your personal experiences, and people that are saying things like I may be saying right now, may be different than you first thought, may be different than you expect. However, if you can come with this with an open mind, I promise you, you will be welcome to a connection to yourself. This is what really got me. A connection to yourself, about going within the self-discovery process, the journey to learn the inner story and learn the language, and how to unlock that, how to release that interference. Because when we release these subconscious interference patterns, and this gets important because we get to a point of, I could show it here. Well, I'll go back to this part here. The purpose of the brain and nervous system is to control and coordinate functions of the cells, tissues, and organs in the body, an adaptive organism to the environment. So is there anything the nervous system does not coordinate or regulate? The answer is no. We literally live our lives through our nervous system. And so a term in my field we use to state what interference is a term called subluxation. And there's a lot of discussion within the field about that term, subluxation. And think of subflooring or sub-basement. Lux is Latin for light. Sub is a state of below or less than. ATION, a state of being, like jubilation. This is subluxation. And what this means is, and there's a couple layers of philosophy in this, but when there's interference, your body cannot function as it was fully intended. So the longer this is present, the more the body has a hard time healing or being well. And it can in fact cause quite a number of symptoms that are diagnosable as something to be present. And in fact, I've seen many occasions that releasing a pressure or this interference pattern to the nervous system restores the individual to a balanced health, something where symptoms are not detectable, or a diagnosis is no longer detectable. We're not changing a diagnosis, we're not causing treatment a diagnosis, we're releasing interference to the human body so it can express its normal capabilities. Remember, the nervous system controls and coordinates human body. This is well defined in Gray's Anatomy. You can see that down. Purpose of the brain and nervous system. The one I'm gonna focus in on one image real quick. Is this? This is one of many I have for you of this variety. But what we're showing here is emotional states associated with the concept of conditional love versus unconditional love. Now, how's that in our world today? How's that in your personal life? How's that in your personal family relationships, romantic relationships, the different roles that you play in life, friends, relatives? business partners, co-workers, employees, employers, people in your community, people in society, people in politics, people in far places, interdimensional beings, whatever it may be in your world, in the topic of love or unconditional love. When the body has chaos in that zone of the mind, well, it affects the pancreas. It affects the GI tract. It affects the pineal gland, the liver, the meridian specifically, the duodenum for gastritis and ulcer issues. The duodenum is part of the small intestinal tract. The ears and auditory nerves and optic nerves, so your vision, your sight, your senses, your jawbone, that's what mastoid is. Problems, dizziness, sinus, asthma due to allergies. These are known components when there's chaos in the emotional realm, of this octave of F. And it happens to correlate with love and unconditional love. And what balances that tone of the octave F that stimulates this issue when there's chaos in that part of the body is something called the octave of B. That is represented by the violet color. And it helps bring balance and harmony to the things that express the future and imagination and dreams. See, we need to. This is what what everybody does, and how we go about balancing ourselves. Well, there's the nature of addiction. There's the nature of fitness and exercise for well-being. There's the nature of ice cream late at night. That's the nature of so many things in our life. Emotional states connect to physical body parts. And all credit to Candace Pert, her work in the 70s and 80s with the opioid receptors. Her public-facing book, Molecules of Emotion, phenomenal. And the imagery I'm showing you here, the imagery I'm showing you is from a technology called AO Scan, which I did highlight a little bit on my website there. Look, I definitely promote it. I use it. I offer it in my clinic. I use it for all kinds of purposes, and it's for you at home. And yeah, I get a piece of the puzzle pie. But that's any business individual, by all means. Products in my personal shop are all used by me, but clean water, get your mind right, get your body right, different holistic technologies. I want a winning package for my body, my mind, my life. This is what I want for my daughter. This is what I want for you, because I do that because of what's called the rising tide principle. And we highlight this specifically on the winning in every situation. I should show you that real quick. But the winning in every situation page, I'll pull it up on the website there. But nonetheless, I'll let you look at this. This graph is so amazing. It blows my mind. And there's more of these. I'll show you a different one. You see different connections. Let's look at suppressed emotional expression versus appropriate self-expression. This is so beautiful and synchronistic because I started the conversation out with the in the back of the manual topic of communication, concern for what was said, what should be said, or what will be said. Think of what goes on in the large intestine, the prostate, if you know what that is, men. Urination. Women, you need to know this too. We need to know about your ovaries. You need to know about our prostate. Stomach meridian, gallbladder, headaches, low back, enzyme production, digestion. When we have a suppressed emotions, do you experience some of these things? Ask yourself that question. I beg you to investigate your emotional states and your body's physical abilities, what it does. It's quite beautiful. So let's get to the page here. All right. I wanted to pull up Vision Living Mindset /winning got that for you right here. It's pulling up. And you get to see me. I do a little introduction about what this is. And in fact, you get to download a free ebook here as well, Crafting a Winning Mindset. And if you're a sports kind of an individual, then this is right up your alley. You know, my friend Coach Ryan, we have 40 years of experience together. My goodness, amazing individual. And it's all about the mind. We each had our own individual journeys. We hadn't talked for 20 years, and we come back together because of some events where we grew up. And well, it's become to find out we've been studying the same material for more than a decade. And so that's how that goes. You know how old friendships are. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's so wonderful. So, but we teach these 3 concepts: energetic remapping, reality renovation, achievement alignment. And Coach Ryan teaches a reality renovation where we go over the laws of success. It's 16 major lessons, and we go over each one every week in a series of 16 weeks. And we're on round 3 of doing this. Season 3 of each season has 16 episodes, and we're on season 3. So we are in episode 14 tonight. 14, I believe. The topic of failure. And look, you know, there's nothing that's really worth it, really worth it without some struggle. And sometimes the struggle is within our own mind, within our own heart, in our past, and healing those things. And that's what we have here with the energetic remapping and the achievement alignment components are key in these elements of putting it all together. And so all this stuff I'm showing you, from what you hear now with the transformation program, is based on a series of concepts that build on one another that ultimately I couldn't put together in one place. It was too much, and there's too much to talk about as one. You know, yes, it started with me setting the vision, and where I kind of trod off my thought there was, it's easy to set your vision, but yet how many actually accomplish their vision? We all have big dreams. And people do actually do it. You can too. And I'm doing it too. And that's what this is all about. Transformations is about how to learn to tap into that inner guidance, the inner wisdom, the force of that life force, where that comes from, and all the philosophy around it. And at the bottom line, we all want to feel good. We all want to have a happy life. I mean, I'm assuming people want a happy life. I mean, maybe you don't. That's okay. Getting to this idea of transformations, we need to let go of much of what we learned from our past and unlearn and go through this awareness process and an awakening process and a healing process. And it's a continually unfolding event in life. And one, just like watching your favorite movie or going through your favorite book over and over and over, there's more nuance you pick up. And as you go through this process that we talk about in the Winning in Every Situation webinar, and I introduce topics here that weave into there as well, and in the Vision Living Alliance mentorship program, all these factors get woven together to build basically a bulletproof system using natural law. Meaning, this is a wonderful story, the law of the seed. And essentially, you can have the seed which has the knowledge to grow a whole entire forest over whatever the given time may be, and yet that seed will not grow if not in the right conditions. As soon as the seed is in the proper conditions, the seed will sprout to grow the intelligence that's within it. And as that seed continues to grow and expand and grow and expand and do what it naturally is inherently built to do, it has all the knowledge and wisdom to grow a forest within it that is sustainable and fruitful for everyone involved. And that is also, that wisdom that created that seed also created you, and it's within you. And that is the awareness and awakening and healing process and the continual unfoldment of that realization. And what I realized in my own personal journey is that the best way forward, in fact, the best way forward in my life was mentorship. I took essentially the apprentice route in many ways in my life, and I learned through experience. I learned through getting my hands in there. Now, some people excel with learning through reading, learning through listening, learning through doing, just three major forms. And I primarily am a hands-on experiential learner, and then I like to back that up with the reading component with the directions. But that's how I've gained knowledge. And I invite you to do the same. These are principles tried and true that we go over every week, and we build on that foundation of knowledge. And so that means we're kicking off a new round of 16. So if you want to get on to the beginning, that's coming up in the near future. We're still a couple weeks away from that. We take a few weeks off in between seasons for the group coaching and one-on-one coaching events and experiences, as well as unveiling the next layer of what we're doing there in the Vision Living Alliance with the members area. And so with that being said, go to the link visionlivingmindset.com/winning, get access to tonight's webinar. In fact, the stream is up, and so you know what, I can drop that link right now. No, you got to go to the website. Yes, you're going to get freebies, you're going to get gifts, you're going to get mindset tools and techniques, and there's also 11-part mini series that Coach Ryan and I put together. It's actually season 1. The first 11 videos of, wow, I gotta tell you, we are only 3 of 16 weeks done in the final production of that, and we have at this point 11. We're looking at 42 videos of the part of the process of what it takes and what to expect and what's going on in small videos, 2 to 5 minute chunks of digestible concepts. But we're building this library for you, and we have so much knowledge to share, along with the energy remapping and reality of renovation. I invite you to join in. Why, again, to reiterate, why do I do this? Why do I spend my time and build these things? It's very simple. This process awareness, awakening, and healing, and what I awoke to is the concept of the rising tide. As I help others rise, it raises the vibration for everyone around them. So therefore, I rise. We all rise together, and that is why I do what I do. So I'm Dr. Kevin Trina. Thank you for tuning in. Any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and let us know how it can be best service to you. If you have a specific topic you want me to talk about, I will. Otherwise, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Blessings and best regards. I'll see you at 8 o'clock in just a few minutes.
Hello and welcome, I'm Dr. Kevin Trina. This is the first introductory video in becoming a